What I'd like to discuss is the issue of global sourcing, because in a cooperation between Europe and Asia, often the global sourcing intended as a sourcing from low-cost labor cost countries is an obstacle. Is often seen by European as by American as the first step of an industrial decline. So sourcing from Asia, in particular from China and India, is often seen as losing our industrial economy. And there is, in fact, a risk in that side. But there's also a growing trend towards a new balance, as in fact global sourcing in a strong long-term competitive way is not only buying from low-cost country economy, but it's really the world global. The world global means buying where it's most efficient to be produced, and it's most, let's say, rewarding. That includes also so sourcing of innovation and sourcing for market presence. So basically, that's the overall picture. There's a strong trend towards global sourcing. There are clear enablers like transportation. The price of transportation, especially the containerized transports, have been going down significantly. The ICT has reduced the barriers. And there are these new economies where the factor cost is very low and where economies of scale can allow strong cost reduction. At the same time, in global sourcing, there are risks. There are risks in terms of responsiveness. There are risks in terms of market presence. There are risks in terms of threats of terrorism and of war. So, in a general sense, the idea that the global sourcing, especially sourcing from India and from China, is due to increase at the same rate as in the past is really a bit going down. So Europe and America are already thinking more about their sourcing nearby, which for Europe is Eastern Europe and for America is Central and Latin America. But it's not only a question of economics. On the Western side, so on Europe and US, it's also a question of relationship, because also Asia is taking advantage of global sourcing in terms of international direct investments, but also in terms of sourcing opportunities, starting from the design and from the innovation, but also sourcing from Europe in order to get a strong presence in Europe. So in this sense, we see, in terms of management approach, we see that the global sourcing is not only buying the end product or buying a component, but it's more and more buying getting an integrated view of what my product is, and then deciding at a global level where to develop, where to source, where to manufacture, and how to distribute. So in this term, as I said, there's a need to go beyond a sourcing only based on cost advantages, and especially on labor cost advantages, which is only a part of it. And it needs to be balanced in terms of cost on one side and risk and time, but I would also add innovation, market presence on the other side. So we see that the trend is not only going towards with no second chance towards India and China, but there's a strong tendency towards, I would say, domestic in terms of regional area. And a balance that is rebalancing, in this sense, the relationship between Europe and Asia on the Western side is not to go 100% towards sourcing in Asia, but to keep at least 20, 30% in Europe, probably in Eastern Europe, as a second sourcing option, even if it is at a higher cost, at a higher direct cost. But view, in the long term, view with a strategic approach, this allows the Western companies to reduce risks and to be more effective in terms of market presence, customer responsiveness, and timeliness. So there has to be a strategic fit. And only going for low cost can be sustainable for certain products and for certain positioning, not for the whole economy, not for all the companies. This is an analysis made by Boston Consulting Group comparing sourcing in Poland with sourcing in China. And you see that China is not winning on every side. But if you take into account, they are suggesting us two main variables as our key for evaluation. One is the blue-collar contents. So the higher the blue-collar content, the more the good and the product is sensitive to low labor cost, which means that the higher the percentage of blue-collar content, the higher the incentive to go towards a low labor cost economy. But at the other side, you have also to take into account the logistic costs and the logistic risks. And they have taken this simple value as the cargo value. So the higher is the cargo value, the higher is the capability of the goods to cover long-term transportation and even highly cost transportation. So this is showing that for products and for industries having a high blue-collar content with a high value contents, going towards global sourcing in terms of sourcing from China, India makes sense. But for other products, it doesn't make sense. So there will be naturally a balance, even from the economics perspective, because there won't be incentive in any case, on any product, on any situation, towards so far away. But apart from that, as I said, there is a more broader aspect. It's not only the economics that are not supporting an unbalanced relationship between Europe and Asia. There's also let's say, a reverse aspect. Also for Asia, it's important to look at sourcing in Europe, as Europe has got a strong mass market potential, and Europe, as Giorgio said, has got a strong innovation potential. Therefore, in the long term, looking at the sourcing issue, we don't see necessarily everything's going to China and to India with no return. We see, and many companies are already doing that, a more balanced relationship with Europe sourcing, Europe sourcing from Asia, but also Asia sourcing from Europe. Thank you very much.